We're excited to bring in Lieutenant Sarah Krebs with us. She's the Assistant Post Commander at Metro North Post. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Ronnie.
So we have so many things that we want to talk to you about because for some reason we've never had Michigan State Police on. We talked to West Bloomfield, Kego, Orchard Lake, Sylvan Lake, all of them like countless times. Yeah, so we're excited to have you with us. But if we can, I want to kind of start out because I saw a Facebook post about a great event that you guys you have coming up, which is also a sad event that we even need to still be having this. But April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Michigan State Police have an initiative going on right now, Purses with a Purpose. Can you tell us more about that?
Sure. So this is the first year that my post is participating in this event, but Purses with a Purpose started last year with our Cadillac post, and a trooper at that post initiated this. And with her drive, they collected over 500 purses for a local domestic violence shelter. So this year, we made it go statewide, and with our women's resource group within our agency, we have drop-off locations throughout the state, but specifically to Oakland and Macomb counties, which are the counties that my post covers. We are using the two domestic violence shelters, Haven in Oakland County and Turning Point in Macomb County, to be a recipient of these purses.
So with that, we know that domestic violence sadly is up right now due to the pandemic. What are you looking for in these purses?
Well, the purses are really meant to empower the women that are going to be getting them. So we're looking for, of course, new purses. With COVID, we don't want to be collecting even gently used materials at this point. So we're asking that the purses be new, and that the other items that we're going to stuff the purses with, which can be a completely separate donation, are like personal hygiene, deodorant, lotions, perfumes, hand sanitizer, face masks, socks, cleaning supplies, all things that the women at these shelters can use and that really are going to make them feel good about themselves.
So with that too, Lieutenant Sarah Krebs with us here on the MegaCast. She's the Assistant Post Commander for the Metro North Post. How can people donate?
So we have 3 drop-off locations in the Metro Detroit area. One at Metro North, which is in Oak Park, one at Metro South, which is in Taylor, and then we have a drop-off location in Detroit at our crime lab, which is at the Detroit Public Safety Headquarters.
I will say whenever I go to the Oak Park location, I always get confused because of how the highway comes off right there. I get turned around every single time.
Yeah, I've been working there for 2 years now. I'm getting pretty familiar with the area. It is a great location, though, right off 696 in Coolidge. So many great restaurants and, walking distance to the Detroit Zoo. It's a really great location to be at.
So with that, Sarah, how long have you been with MSP now?
20 years, if you can believe that.
So you were just like in junior high when you joined, right?
Right. Yeah. It's really kind of amazing to even hear myself say that I've been with this agency for that long. But yeah, this is my 20th year in law enforcement.
But what I love is when we have women in law enforcement, you know what it's like to be a woman and to go through some of these situations. And that's where these initiatives grow out of. And it's also putting that face on the law enforcement community to connect them with the community so that we bridge that gap so that people understand our law enforcement officers are people too. So how has the reaction been from the community?
This is, like I said, the first time that my post is participating. So we're really just getting into this. I can imagine, though, we're going to have a great response. I've already had a great response from my friends just by posting it on social media. In fact, today, one of my neighbors dropped off a bunch of hygiene stuff on my front porch so that I can take it back to my post for this. And I think that's the great thing, especially with women. We see this as a way to connect and a way to help those less fortunate than us. And who is less fortunate than somebody that has been put in a domestic violence or sexual assault situation, and the women that come to these shelters come there often with nothing. They're walking out of a bad situation really with just the clothes on their back. So for us to be able to hand them a brand new purse stuffed full of goodies, it's just going to make them feel so much better in that situation.
And it really takes a lot of courage for them to walk away from some of these relationships and ask for help.
Yeah, and that's, I think, the hardest part of these domestic violence and sexual assault situations is taking that first step to get away from their abuser. And to sometimes this is the only option for them, is to come to a shelter.
Lieutenant Sarah Krebs with us here on the MegaCast. She's with the Michigan State Police. And Lieutenant, if we can ask you, what's it like being a female in law enforcement?
Well, I've never known it any other way, but I love it. I mean, I just think it's a great profession. It's I can't think of anything that I would be better suited at doing. I get to help people on a daily basis and in so many different ways. Probably the best is to give families justice and answers, and in no other profession, maybe other than being a attorney, like a district attorney or prosecutor, can you do that? Can you not only help a person out of a bad situation, but sometimes get them into an even better one? And I love it. It really suits me.
So can you tell us about some of the career opportunities within Michigan State Police? Because so many people think state police, all you guys do is ride the highway and give out tickets. And I'm always like, no, they do so much more.
Yes. Yeah, if you're going to allow me to talk recruiting, MSP has so much to offer. We have civilian positions, we have enlisted positions. We do so much. We run the Criminal Justice Information Center. We have an IT division. There is so many different opportunities out there. And what I love is we are across the state. So we're not, patrolling, say, one jurisdiction our entire 25-year career. If you want to move across the state, you want to go to the UP, you want to fly a helicopter, you can do that. We have so many different specialty units. Even in my own career, I've worked everything from, yes, writing tickets on the freeway, to working organized crime, working violent crime, working missing children, abductions. I'm a forensic artist. I've been doing that for almost 20 years now, where I draw the bad guys. I've just been able to do so many different things within one career. It's great.
So we just, right before you came on, we had the career counselor over at West Bloomfield High School and talking about, students right now are getting ready to go into college and looking into some of these different careers. And I think sometimes they overlook law enforcement because they just have that thought process of what they see on TV or seeing, someone in the scout car, where there are so many other opportunities available.
Yeah, and like we have a crime laboratory, which is a totally different set of schooling. And I think people really need to think of that. If they have an end goal and it involves law enforcement, it doesn't exactly mean that you need to get a criminal justice degree. By getting a criminal justice degree, you've kind of pigeonholed yourself into, hey, I can only do this. I actually got an anthropology degree because, just coming into this, you don't have to even have a degree. You can have a high school GED to be a trooper, which is great because it allows us access to more people. But if you do have a degree, I can tell you it definitely opens more doors for you. And for our promotional process, it definitely helps you. So I'm not trying to advocate to not get a degree going into law enforcement. It definitely helps. But, with my anthropology degree, that opened so many doors for me with my forensic art.
I always tell everyone, if you pick up one skill, learn a foreign language.
That would be a great set of advice. Even in law enforcement, our bilingual troopers, do a lot of translating for us. We do have a lot of situations, interviews, traffic stops, where we're speaking to somebody that English was not their first language. And it really helps to have language skills.
Google Translate only goes so far, Tyler. I tried to use it in France. It didn't do us well.
Yeah, it's not very highly effective either. You flip some things around, and you got some very different sentences, Ronnie.
I bet. It could go really wrong on a traffic stop.
Oh, boy.
Right. Well, and you have to remember, too, there are places where you don't get a really good signal. So in France, obviously, we didn't. But in Southwest Detroit, there are a lot of places where your cell phone signal goes out. Lieutenant Sarah Krebs with us here on the MegaCast. She's the Assistant Post Commander for Metro North Post. And I think you're such a great example for the Michigan State Police, but also to attract females into an industry that typically is male-dominated. But we are seeing more and more women go into law enforcement. And, of course, we have to ask, because this is Women's History Month, who encouraged you along the way?
I have a lot of men in my life that actually were my mentors and encouragers, to get into law enforcement. I didn't have a woman that was behind me pushing me. But in my career, I have had so many great role models that have been women. As you know, our last colonel was a female, which, that's as high as you can go in our department. And right now, our number 2, Lieutenant Colonel Diener, is a female. So we have a lot of really good role models within our own agency, and even myself, I've now gotten to the rank of lieutenant, and it took me 18 years to get there. But I've done that because I've watched other women that I've worked with attain those high-ranking goals, and it set a bar for me that I wanted to make.
Lieutenant Sarah Krebs with Michigan State Police. She's the Assistant Post Commander, Metro North Post. Before we let you go, anything maybe I didn't ask you about that you want to add to let people know?
Just with Purses with a Purpose, if you would like to donate to us, it is a great cause. And again, we're taking new purses and comfort items like candy, socks, masks, toiletries. I always like to say, things that make a girl feel good is what we want to put in that purse.
I love that. I absolutely love that. And I should say, too, I know that when I go out on the streets with Brother Joe in Detroit, one of the things they always need, too, bras, like sports bras for women. We kind of forget about that. But it's a great program that you guys are doing, and I think the community is really going to appreciate it as well. So stay safe out there. It's always great talking to you.
I will. Good talking to you. Have a great day, guys.
Hey, Lieutenant, before I let you go, I was telling Tyler, I think the first time I interviewed you was all the way back in Lansing when I was a one-man band. I was just starting out. And I think it was a cold case you were working on at the time.
Probably. I spent many, many years of my career working cold cases. And that's, unfortunately, it's one of the things I miss. That was a great run for me.
Oh, well, you've done amazing work for the Michigan State Police. We're so lucky to have you. Thank you again for your time.
Thanks for having me.